What, Daddy? What are you doing?
I love Voyager. Voyager is one of a Star Trek show that you're going to watch eventually. So to see a new Voyager is really, really exciting. Watching these episodes with Jonah was definitely an interesting experience for me. Seeing the Voyager A, seeing the Doctor again they were quite emotional moments for me. I watched Voyager when it was first on television. As hard as it was to actually get to see, I did see it. And, you know, I grew very fond of that show. Like, yes, I do believe that show was a missed opportunity. When it was at its strongest, I think it was fantastic. When it was at its weakest, I thought it was terrible. But I also thought that a lot of it was kind of middle. Regardless of that, like the EMH, one of my favorite characters of all time in Star Trek. The Voyager itself, beautiful ship, absolutely loved it. In fact, I remember when I was a boy, living in Edinburgh, I went to go see Star Trek, the exhibit, I think it was called, at the City Art Centre. And at the time, obviously, this was in the mid-90s. So TNG was no more, and I believe this is around the time that I believe Generations was maybe around that time was coming out or had been out already. Deep Space Nine was in full swing, and Voyager had just been announced, and this exhibit had all of those things there, and it was like one little bit dedicated to this is the show that's going to be coming, and a big shot of Voyager. So Voyager was very mysterious to me. I didn't know what it was going to be about, and I enjoyed it when it did come out mostly. So watching this episode back, Jonah has grown an attachment to Janeway, as we know through the first season of this podcast. It's his favorite character. He'll tell me that other characters are his favorite, but he always gets excited when he sees Janeway. I like Janeway as well, but I love the Doctor. Earlier on in the podcast, I did mention to Jonah that I'd actually met the Doctor. I'd met Robert Picardo. Very funny story. I say funny story. Funny in the sense of I can't believe it actually happened type of story. Back in 2017, I wrote a show called I'm a Fan. And the show was essentially an exploration of my Star Trek fandom, but telling the story of my life and my attachment to Star Trek and how it sort of shaped me as a person, but also how being a fan of it was a target for bullies, and then how eventually in my life I decided to shun it and sort of deny it, and that a twist where, 2009 Star Trek came out and sort of reignited my interest in Star Trek again. Ballooning from there, I was just like, okay, I really, really like Star Trek. I want to do more of it in my stand-up comedy. And I ended up doing Star Trek versus Star Wars, creating the show. But also by embracing my love of Star Trek and actually being someone who's like, I actually enjoy Star Trek, is how I met my now wife, Jonah's mum. And we bonded over Star Trek because she's a big Star Trek fan herself. Through all of that, it was just crazy. So I wrote this show, which was all about this and how embracing your fandom, no matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's Star Trek or Star Wars or football or anything like that, but when you embrace your fandom and you enjoy it, and it makes you feel part of a community, it makes you feel part of something, and it's these shared experiences. And I wrote this show and I performed it at the Edinburgh Fringe in 2007. The first time I performed it was the Edinburgh Fringe in 2017, and coincidentally, 2017. There was a show on that was being performed by Robert Picardo and Sylvester McCoy. And I heard about this, and all of us were like, oh, wouldn't it be crazy if Robert Picardo came to see my little show all about Star Trek? And I remember one day I was walking to my venue, and I walked into the bar. I didn't even get a chance to walk into the bar because one of the staff members clocked me as I was about to go into the door, and came out and he went, Robert Picardo's at the bar right now. And I was like, sorry, what? This is Robert Picardo is at the bar right now. And I peeked in the window, and usually my routine would be go to the bar, get a drink, go upstairs to the show. And I saw Robert Picardo and Sylvester McCoy right there at the bar, having a drink, eating some food. And I was like, okay, maybe they're just here because it's a bar and they're having a drink. So I was like, I tell you what, I'll go to a different bar. I'll get my drink from there and I'll go and get ready for my show. And so I got ready for my show. And the venue I was in was a very, very small room. There was no backstage. There was no place for me to hide and go onto stage. I was literally greeting people as they came in the door. So I actually made it part of the show where I greet people and have a little laugh with them and everything like that. So I let them come in. And yep, Robert Picardo and Sylvester McCoy walked in. And at that moment, I'm sort of freaking out, thinking like, how do I deal with this? How do I how do I keep my cool? Do I acknowledge it? What do I do? And in the end, I chose to do the show. I did the show as is, and it went well. It was a good show, and Robert Picardo and Sylvester McCoy both said that they enjoyed it. In fact, I was doing the show as part of what is called the Free Festival. If you've never been to the Edinburgh Fringe, there's many ways of seeing the shows. A lot of people will go to the paid venues where you pay a ticket to go see a show. So you see a comedy show, you buy a ticket, you go see it. Traditional way of enjoying it. The Free Festival is essentially the busking model. So you go see a show, you don't pay to go in, you pay when you leave. So you pay for what you think the show is worth, and that involves the performer standing on stage at the end, giving a little spiel about, please give us some money, and then standing at the door, hoping that you'll put some money in the bucket or card reader these days. And it's awkward, but also I love it as well because it's a great way of getting to see free stuff and interacting with the arts and paying what you deserve, what you think something deserves. And also it's a great way of making art and comedy and theatre accessible to people who maybe can't afford to go see these shows, which are charging £15-20 per ticket. Anyway, regardless of all that, I get my bucket, and next thing I know, Robert Picardo grabs it and he's like, everybody give some money, I'm putting in £20, and he's just honestly the loveliest guy, and it was an insane moment. And because the thing is, the only other time I'd met people from Star Trek was when I went to a convention, which is where a lot of the show got written from. Was that when I went to go to a convention in 2016, I met George Takei, and it was a lovely experience. But I also met Garrett Wang, so met Terry Farrell. It was great. But here I actually met Robert Picardo as just Robert Picardo. He wasn't at a convention. He was in town doing a show, and he was treating me like a fellow performer. He wasn't like anything else. He was lovely. He was funny, and I saw his show as well in return. His show was incredible. Really enjoyed it, and it was just this wonderful moment. And I told Jonah about this because Jonah knows that I do. He knows that Daddy's job is sometimes standing on the stage and trying to make people laugh. The key word being trying. I do kids shows as well, and so he's seen my kids show and he very much loves the kids show that I do because it's very interactive, lots of Nerf guns and games and silliness, and it's all about superheroes as well. So he knows that this is something that I do, and I don't think he sort of like got... Obviously, he's 5 years old, and I think like when you're 5 years old, you don't realize that the stuff that you see on TV is performed by like actors. There are people behind the characters that you see. When you're 5 years old, all you see is the character. He loves Janeway, but if he met Kate Mulgrew at this moment in time, I don't think he'd understand who she is. I mean, obviously, I'd love it if he met Kate Mulgrew. That would be phenomenal. I mean, I would love to meet Kate Mulgrew. But if he met Kate Mulgrew at this moment in time, would he understand that that's Janeway? I mean, I think he would, because Kate Mulgrew is Janeway. So he would go, that's Janeway. But I don't think he'd understand that Kate Mulgrew is one person, Janeway is another person. And like, so when I explained him that I met the actor behind the Doctor, I don't think he quite understood the idea behind that, but he did like the idea that I had met the Doctor. He liked the idea that I'd met someone who had been on Star Trek. And I think one of the things that I'm looking forward to for him is taking him to be part of like the community. And this is one of my themes of my show, as I mentioned earlier on, is that Star Trek is, for me, about the storytelling and the hope it gives you, the lessons that you learn, but it's just really strong storytelling, and that the casts are always families. They're always people who look after each other and look out for each other. And like Jonah's already felt that, you know. Again, I refer you back to the end of season 1. If you haven't listened to the season 1 podcast, go listen. At the end of it, he's upset that Gwyn doesn't stay with the rest of the crew because he sees them as a family. And I think it's like, on a grander scale, you know, Star Trek is this thing that shows people working together, but more importantly, being there for each other, being a family. Voyager is a fantastic example of that, I think. The type of people who are Star Trek fans for that reason, again, also the Star Trek community is mirrored by what is on the screen and the way that the writing is done. And I like the idea that one day, I hope one day, he's part of it. I do convention hosting, and I hope that one day, you know, that I've taken him to one convention already, and unfortunately, I think he was just a little bit too young for it. He got quite scared. But I'm now looking forward that he's a little bit older, that maybe he'd be willing to come to another convention with me and meet some of the people that, you know, are in the things that he loves. In fact, actually, this is a genuinely funny story, actually. That's not related to Star Trek, but one of the shows that he is into, that he's gotten into over the last year or so, is a kids show on the BBC called Go Jetters. And it's fun. I actually quite enjoy it. I think it's quite nice. You learn a little bit about history or geography and stuff like that, which is really, really cool as well. So, you know, learning, fun, simple. But through convention hosting, which I've been doing for quite a long time, I've met some really cool people. And some of them have actually become, you know, friends. One of them is a voice artist called Marc Silk. And if you don't know Marc Silk, please look him up. In Star Wars, he was the voice of Mo in The Phantom Menace. He's done a whole lot of other things, but one of the things he has done is he was the voice of Grandmaster Glitch on Go Jetters. The day that Jonah first put on Go Jetters, I took a picture of Jonah watching Go Jetters. I sent it to Mark going, hey, look who's watching Go Jetters. Next thing I know, Mark sends me a voice memo of him saying hi to Jonah in the voice of Grandmaster Glitch.
Hello, Jonah! Grandmaster Glitch here, live from the Gribbler. Oh, I'm so excited. I see you've been watching me on the television in the Grandmaster Glitch show with those naughty no-jetters.
This was like unbelievable, and Jonah's little face like absolutely lit up. And you know, that's happening for Go Jetters. Like, we're going to be watching Star Trek together. We know that he already loves Janeway. What is it going to be like if one day he got to meet Kate Mulgrew? What is it going to be like one day if he meets the voice cast behind the likes of Dal, of Gwyn, of Jankim Pog? Oh my God, I would love it if you met Jason Mantzoukas. That would be just absolute chaos. Also, I love Jason Mantzoukas. But like, what's it going to be like if he gets to meet these people and be part of this sort of Star Trek community, this where we've got this shared love of something? And that's something when I watched Star Trek when I was a kid, I never really got experience. Yeah, I went to this Star Trek exhibit, but I was never part of like the Star Trek fandom until much later in life. And I hope that he's going to have that experience that I never had, but that we get to share it together. And hopefully that does happen. I mean, ultimately, he might turn around and say, sorry, Dad, I don't like Star Trek anymore. I prefer Stargate. And that'll be fine as well. This is part of a longer podcast called My Next Generation, which you can listen to on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on other places as well. So please go check out the full episodes. I'll leave a link for it in the description below. And if you've enjoyed this little video, please don't forget to give it a like and to subscribe to the channel, heading towards 2,000 subscribers. So I would absolutely love you to have on board. And get into the comments as well and tell me, have you met someone from Star Trek, and who and how? I'd love to know. Thanks for watching.